On August 7th, the grappling world will stand still. Two of the sport's most bitter rivals will finally settle the score at the biggest Who's Number One event of all time. It wouldn't be historic without the sport's most significant star, Gordon Ryan.
Any of these pussies in the top 5, top 10, whenever any of you want to compete, let me know.
The brash, talented, and confident 27-year-old black belt has single-handedly transformed the sport. With 55 straight victories, an unmatched submission rate, and the title of Who's Number One heavyweight champion, Gordon Ryan has earned his nickname, the King.
Oh man, it's a bad day for the haters today.
There is the finish. Gordon Ryan with the submission.
Even Gordon's most vocal detractors have all fallen silent. His greatness has become undeniable. Gordon has continued to pick off submission wins over veterans, contenders, and the new generation of phenoms. His list of challengers have grown quieter and quieter, all reluctant to come for the crown, until now. Felipe Pena isn't afraid of anyone, especially not a competitor he's already defeated twice. A multiple-time world champion in Jiu-jitsu, Pena is on his way to becoming one of the greatest champions Brazil has ever produced. Felipe has not only beaten Gordon, he's the only man to ever submit him in black belt competition. If Gordon has a kryptonite, it might be Felipe Pena. And before the career of this legendary grappler is over, he has his sights set on defeating the King one more time. On August 7th, two fierce adversaries will take to the mat, destined to cross paths once more. One is eager to avenge his past mistakes. The other relishes the opportunity to silence the biggest trash talker in the sport. When the dust settles in Dallas, Texas, one will walk away with victory. The other will suffer a devastating loss. One way or another, someone will tap out. And someone will carry the crown for years to come. This is true submission only. This is the best fighting the best. This is the road to Who's Number One. Gordon Ryan versus Felipe Pena 3. Born and raised in Belo Horizonte, Brazil, Felipe Pena has stayed true to his roots. Despite traveling the world and winning championships on multiple continents, Felipe has never left home. Lucky for him, some of the best jiu-jitsu training in the world is quite literally in his backyard.
We're just gonna do a wrestling practice with Coach Luis. Do a lot of drills of takedowns, counterattacks, and some sparring then. Since ADCC 2017, I started training wrestling. The first year I didn't enjoy so much, but nowadays I enjoy training. I think it's very important you be complete, especially for no-gi, for ADCC. You know, you need to have a good takedown game.
Who do you think is a better wrestler, you or Gordon? For sure. Think he stays, think he take him out?
That's why he wants to do a no time limit match, you know, because the rule is better for him before ADCC.
Felipe is preparing for another championship run at the ADCC World Championships. But first, he wants to close the book on Gordon Ryan once and for all.
He's the guy who talks a lot of crap all the time, you know. That's take really personal and makes me want to fight him. I think it's more important for me than even DCC. I want to face him before doing MMA, you know, like that's my main goal. I was doing ADCC, of course, because it will be a huge event and I want to be part of it. But especially because I want to face Gordon, you know. If I beat him, I shut up everyone, you know, before go to MMA. It will be like the best thing to close a career, you know.
A third fight between Felipe and Gordon has been a long time coming. So long, in fact, many had given up entirely on making it a reality.
Since he won the open weight, he didn't do any tough matches. Looks like he wants just enjoy the title, you know? He didn't want to lose.
Any of these pussies in the top 5, top 10, whenever any of you want to compete, let me know.
The last 2-3 years, like he always talk on the internet, oh, no one face me, no one signed the contract. He's like a kid. Oh, you never signed a contract? Man, what do you mean? I'm calling you here to fight. Send me a contract, let's do it. Oh no, I have a stomach problem. I think he just didn't want it. But I think as long as he keep lying on the internet, keep lying for the people, for the fans, and that's what I think is wrong, you know. If you want like enjoy the title, you know, do other things until it's the right time, it's a choice, you know. Gordon, my chubby baby, I am coming for you, okay? I have to accept your rules, your country, your time. Let's see what happens. Let's see. You're gonna do what you say on the internet.
From New Jersey to Puerto Rico, Gordon has finally settled in the great state of Texas.
Austin's amazing. It's not as scenic and as beautiful as the island of Puerto Rico, but the people here are amazing. Everyone's very, very nice. It's easy to get things done. It's easy to do business. It's easy to move around within Austin. So I mean, I love it. It's probably my favorite place overall that I've lived. So we have our filthy cars out in the front. We have the Ram TRX, which is like probably my favorite vehicle ever because it's fast and it's luxurious and it can do anything pretty much. The CTS-V, which is probably my all-time dream car. This is the car I wanted growing up through high school, so I got this from my dad and then now he died, so it's mine. But this is something that I love and I'll never sell this. And then this MX-5 Miata I had in Puerto Rico. I was actually trying to sell this in Puerto Rico. Didn't end up selling it before my buddy Fernando moved here. He was trying to sell it for me, and I was like, oh, I'll just ship it here. So now Nat drives this, and then I drive these two. And then the Corvette's getting work done to it right now, so that's out and away. This is my winter hat because apparently you can't wear felt in the summer. It's too hot, so I don't want to get yelled at. So this is my winter black cowboy hat. This is my straw summer hat for when I go out. And then this is Big Gord's old cowboy hat. And it actually got crushed. Our friend Jancy helped us steam it to be presentable. But this is Big Gord's old hat, so I keep this up here as well. So this is a company called Dice Ideas. They do faces of people and they make the artwork in rolling dice. So I have a portrait of Big Gord that's made. It's huge. It's like 6 foot tall by like 3 foot wide. This is pretty cool.
Today is a historic day. Gordon Ryan is signing his contract, which will make the match with Felipe official.
Felipe Pena, August 7th. No time limit, submission only. So there won't be any refs involved. There'll be no judging bias. It'll be just someone gets submitted and that's the end of the match. He's making me jump through hoops, as he always does, but he actually signed the contract this time. So I can confidently say this is the worst decision he's ever made in his entire life. So it should be fun. It's been so difficult to get to this third match with Felipe that it's one of the matches that I want most. But for like a year and a half, I just refused to even talk about it to any promoter because Felipe would just waste my time every time. He's always got an excuse. He's got something he's impossible to negotiate with. He wants $1 million to do this, $1 million to do that. Time doesn't work. He stubbed his toe. Whatever excuse you can find, Pena's had it. he was trying to make me jump through hoops and go to Italy and do this and do that. And then finally Flo stepped up and like, can we just do the match?
This frame is for my first match against Gordon Ryan.
Credit to Flo. They actually got him to agree to the match somehow. Maybe he must need money or something, because somehow they got him to agree to no time limit, submission only.
Just waking up one morning and Gordon saying Felipe signed. And I was like, really? Like, I'd heard so many times before that I didn't even take it seriously. And I said, you really signed? And he said, yeah, it's on.
Felipe's time to compete against me was 2 weeks after the last ADCC. Like, if this guy competes against me now, it's not going to be competitive.
Most people look at it in terms of the social media image of like two guys that hate each other's fucking guts. One of whom has to prove something because he lost the other guy twice. And I think that's how most people will perceive the fight. In terms of jiu-jitsu drama, this match will probably be the biggest match of all time.
We have Gordon Ryan versus Felipe Pena. It's an hour-long match, Sean.
Yeah.
I mean, I never really watched high-level jiu-jitsu guys. I didn't know who Pena was until they offered him as an opponent to me.
I think it probably started with Gordon, I think, calling Felipe out. Felipe was the world champion.
Mo Jasm, he saw what I was doing and was like, yeah, I don't like this kid. I'm going to pay someone to beat him.
I was not going to compete against Gordon. You know? He was not like a huge name or something like that, you know. That's when he started calling me out on the internet. He said he was going to tap me, you know, and the same trash talk as now.
I was super confident going in. I was feeling great, and then up until the tournament, I got like the flu or something. I got super sick the week before the tournament, and nonetheless, I went out, I fought him.
Gordon did very well at the start, but was physically overpowered. Felipe was quite a bit bigger and stronger in those days.
I remember being super tired, just 100% exhausted. I was walking around at like 185. By the time I showed up to the tournament, I was like 172 the day. I felt Pena was just so much stronger than me in the match. I was like, man, this is just terrible.
He did a lot of entries on the heel hook.
But as he started to fatigue, the ashigarami control got looser and looser. And Felipe recognized that, saw that the back was being exposed for longer than it should be.
I was able to, in one of these entries, go for his back and close that triangle and rear naked choke him.
Finally, the last time he actually got to my back, the strangle stuck, and he ended up submitting me.
And everyone from my side was so happy, you know, because people get like really hyped because of the trash talk, and people take it very personally, you know. I think it was a victory not only for me, but for a lot of people, you know.
No excuses for me. He was a better grappler today. All there is now is to have to go back and watch some of the tape and hopefully come back stronger. But I know all the haters are going to be celebrating, which is fine. Everyone's going to hate no matter what if you win or lose. So this is a good day for the haters.
You learn something from every loss. I think it's a mistake for an athlete to dwell upon one loss, because then you start to look at that person you lost to as something different, a bigger challenge than perhaps they really are.
There were just a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of mistakes. There's a lot I took away from that match, both technically and tactically.
I remember Gordon afterwards saying, like, man, Felipe felt like literally like 3 times stronger than me. And so then Gordon started working on his physicality.
And that was 6 years ago, so it was just a completely different match than it would have been, recently. The second he submitted me, I'm like, this is one of the only guys to submit me ever in competition. We have to eventually do that rematch.
There is no bigger competition in grappling than the ADCC World Championships. It is the premier proving ground for the world's most elite submission grapplers. In 2017, the global competition led to Helsinki, Finland for an unprecedented tournament. To the surprise of many, Gordon Ryan backed up all his trash talk and dominated the tournament's toughest division, taking out Dylan Dennis, Sanjay Ribeiro, Homalal Bahal, and submitting Keenan Cornelius in the finals, proving to everyone he was here to take over.
So that was my first ADCC ever. I won my division, the most stacked division ever in ADCC at 88 kilograms across any division ever. It was the best debut of any athlete ever in ADCC history.
Felipe's biggest hurdle, of course, was Buchecha. I watched that match with interest. I think that was Probably one of Felipe Pena's best performances.
I didn't think much about Gordon. I think much about being an open weight champion at the ADCC. Always was my big dream, you know, since I'm young. So I said, man, one step, one more step, one more step. I was so motivated and so confident that when I started doing the open weight, you know, I said to Rominha, man, I'm gonna win this.
As the matches went by, Gordon went through Cyborg and Craig and Muhammad Ali, and you could see they were inching closer and closer, and then it became kind of inevitable.
So going into the absolute final, I was very confident. I had a great day, I felt great. I had a very high submission rate across the board going in. I was very excited to go into that match.
This is a rematch from the battle at Studio 540 where Felipe Pena submitted Gordon Ryan. Will we see the same thing happening?
At that stage, Gordon was still a weight division lighter than Felipe, but he said that when they fought, he felt the physicality had evened out. They were of comparable physical strengths now.
It was a very strategic match. The first 10 minutes where it's like no points. I pretty much did guard, you know, they take me down and then did guard and got in a good position.
I was doing good. I felt like I was controlling the pace relatively well throughout the match.
And I thought Felipe did a very fine job with his guard retention, holding Gordon off, maintaining distance, excellent use of frames, excellent use of getting his shoulders off the mat at critical periods when Gordon was getting close to a pass.
The last 2 minutes or so, I made a tactical mistake where I sat down and tried to attack his legs, and he ended up taking my back the same way they took my back from the first time.
Oh, this is similar to the Studio 540. Exactly. This is exactly where Pena took the back.
Oh, he's gonna pass.
This is exactly it. Pena gets to the back.
It was a similar situation where he attacked my foot and he opened space to go to the back. And then I closed the triangle, and then I knew at the match there was done, you know.
I think that might have been Gordon's hard-headedness trying to rectify the previous error and having it compound upon itself.
I'm pretty sure if I have more time, I will tap him again. Back on this day, I was just happy to win, you know.
After that Pena match, I wasn't really too upset. I was disappointed because I lost to him, but I was very just ecstatic that I won ADCC, had the debut that I had, and I was happy, but I wasn't satisfied. I knew that Felipe was a guy that I could beat, but I just made one tactical error, and that ended up costing me the match. I did feel at that point like I was starting to pull away from him in terms of technical knowledge.
Afterwards, he said he felt no danger through the match, and you could see his confidence was rising. I got the impression Felipe was looking at him in a different way now. It's like, this is no longer just some loudmouth American upstart. This guy's a serious opponent.
Man, he never stopped trash talk, you know. Before the first match, trash talk, and then I win. And then we fought in ADCC and I win. And then keep trash talking.
I mean, he had my number 5 years ago. 5 years is half of the total time that I've been doing jiu-jitsu. To think that matches from 2016 and 2017 with me specifically as an athlete will be the same, it's just silly to think that.
You got?
Let me say to Mike, I have a whole album of my son, you know, my chubby son with good arms.
Oh my God.
I like this one.
Okay, he likes this one. Can you see that on the camera? He's got a folder of hundreds of stuff like this, of little baby Gordon memes.
I mean, Felipe at least tries to talk trash. It's just like arguing with a rock. Like he has like that chubby baby thing. I get like Gordo is like translates like fat in Portuguese and Spanish. It doesn't really add up because Felipe's like actually like chubby and out of shape right now, and I'm like shredded with an 8-pack. It just doesn't make sense.
You know, when you have like a son, you make fun of a son and everything. That's how I feel about Gordon, you know. It's like a kid. I have a lot of love for my son, so I like to show love.
since 2019, his stock has just gone down and down and down and down. He like had the Kasai match where he got heel hooked, and then he just got wrecked by Andre, thrown to a table, and then he won the world again, got his title stripped, and now he's gonna retire from Nogi and go to MMA after he has to fight me, get beat up by me, and then lose ADCC. So 2022 is gonna be the only year for Felipe that was worse than 2019.
He didn't want to fight for so many years. Why now, right before ADCC? I think I'm gonna beat him on both, but in his head, I think he's only gonna accept if his rules, his way, his plays, you know.
Just completely different. From 2016, 2017, I'm way bigger. Tactically, I'm on a completely different level. Technically, I mean, it may as well just be a different person at this point.
He always say, oh, now I am way better, I'm strong, I'm gonna beat him. I think it doesn't matter how many times he loses, he's always gonna say this, you know.
I'm just objectively much better than Felipe. Every single position, there's just nowhere he can compete against me. He can't compete standing, he can't compete on the ground, top or bottom position. There's just nothing in the sport that Felipe is better than me at, besides losing. He has 2-0 right now. He should just kind of ride that for the rest of his career and say, I'm the only guy to beat Gordon twice at black belt. He agreed to a match. I don't know what he's thinking.
I'm chasing him 100%. I want to face the best, you know. Everyone is talking about Gordon.
Felipe, he's got a proven track record against Gordon Ryan, so he'll go into this match with a lot of confidence.
When it's a match like this, it's something that makes you train and do everything possible to win, you know. I would hate to lose that match.
The second he feels one of my grips on him, he's gonna be like, oh fuck, I shouldn't be here.
I think this is going to be the toughest single match that Gordon Ryan has had in his career so far. Gordon's a very practical problem solver, and Felipe is a very difficult problem to solve.
I already beat him 2 times, I beat him 3 times in a couple of years. I'm gonna still talking trash, you know.
I'm not gonna just go out there and finish him in 5 minutes. People are gonna notice, okay, this guy's broken. And when he breaks, I'm gonna be like, it's okay, buddy, just 45 more minutes.
I don't think he's gonna focus on your leg locks. I'm gonna try to pass, sweep.
It's gonna be me just flanking him, forcing him into half guard, passing him repeatedly. When I start to feel bad for him, I'll start coaching him, tell him what he has to do to stop me from doing the things I'm doing to him. Mentally, it's gonna be very traumatizing for him because of the fact that he can't get out of there until I let him out of there.
You got 2 of the very best of all time. And it's going to be one of the greatest matches in Jiu-Jitsu history.
On August 7th, all the talking ends. There will be no judges, no controversial calls, no points or advantages. Just 2 of the world's best grapplers and only one way to win. Guaranteed submission. One of these juggernauts will tap out. Will it be Gordon Ryan or Felipe Pena? Find out how it all goes down on the biggest night in Who's #1 history, right here on FloGrappling.